So I was watching Mr. Beast's video about planting 20 million trees and his hashtag Team Trees project. Seriously, this man is single-handedly saving humanity one project at a time and restoring hope for us hopeless YouTubers. After the video, I went to teamtrees.org and I donated a big sum of my net worth, $10. And while I was doing that, I had the most brilliant / ridiculous idea ever. How about we identify each of these 10 trees in the past anime I watched? Thus, a new idea was born, and today I will be going into anime's top 10 tree-kun. The first tree I want to talk about is the camphor tree from Dr. Stone. You know, I had to go with a recent series just to show that your boy is cultured. Camphor-kun is significant because this is what connected Taiju to the world before and after petrification. It was the tree where Taiju confessed his love for Yuzahiro. And then after the world ended, the tree became thick and protected Yuzahiro from weather damages. Camphor-san gave Taiju a sense of purpose because it made him want to save Yuzahiro from a petrified state, and also displayed an image from Senku to meet him at a rendezvous point. Thank you for your service, Camphor-san. The next tree I want to talk about is the Tree of Eternity from the last episode of Mushishi. This tree was another thick tree that grew nearby a village for 1,000 years. It was so thick that no man could cut it down. And when people realized the significance of this thickness, they started to worship Eternity-san as a god for generations. However, one day a fire destroyed the village's source of income, so Eternity-san turned into Living Tree-sama and allowed villagers to cut down the tree to save them from starving. Rest in peace, Eternity-san. You will be forever remembered. Next up is Timber-san from Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team. You know I love Gundam, so I had to throw in my all-time favorite 8th MS Team. This series took place in the Vietnam jungles, and the only real purpose these trees served in the series was that mobile suits would use them as deception, and they'll also use them to launch surprise attacks on enemy forces. Thank you for serving your country, Timber-san. Next up is Sakura-san from Non Non Biyori. Non Non Biyori is probably one of the best slice of life series from the past decade. It does a superb job of emulating the laid back and relaxing Japanese countryside. For that specific visualization, it was typically the extremely detailed background art that accomplished that. Hotaru was also sucked into this backdrop as she came upon a single bloomed sakura tree atop a hill. As both the audience and Hotaru marveled at the scenery, it also served as a simple symbol. For Hotaru, it symbolized a bright new start in the countryside after moving from Tokyo. And for us, the audience, it was a perfect introduction to this slice of life masterpiece. On number 6 of the list, we have the Forest of Great Trees from Attack on Titan. The Forest of Great Trees is a great place to pull up with your boys and listen to some emotional lo-fi music. Sometimes in life, you get tired of seeing your friends getting eaten by titans, so these trees are a refuge for the weary. Also, if you're late for work and want to chase your boyfriend, these sturdy branches are compatible with your omnidirectional mobility gear. So if you're too broke for your local Airbnb inn, or your house got smashed by a titan, swing by the Forest of Great Trees today. On number 5 on my list, we have 1000-year-old San from Darling of the Franxx. I'm not gonna lie, that last sequence in Darling of the Franxx really messed me up. It was centered around a sakura tree and how, as it was growing for 1000 years, so was its surroundings. The tree really represented the end, the beginning, and the future. And this tree was loosely based off one of Japan's Sandai Sakura, which roughly translates into 3 great cherry blossom trees. All 3 of these sakura trees are over 1000 years old, with one of them being at 2000 years old. Imagine Jesus-sama and some samurais at the Sakura viewing party, and then 2000 years later, Japanese people of today are looking at the same exact tree. Next up, we have Studio Chizu's Mirai, featuring Oak Tree San. Without ruining anything, this was a tree located at the center of Kun's family's house. It somehow allowed Kun to travel to different timelines of the past and future. Through this process, Kun was really able to learn invaluable lessons for his current life, and one of them being feeling extreme jealousy towards his newborn little sister Mirai. Because for Kun, it seemed that all of his parents' attention is now diverted only to Mirai. Oak Tree-san, thank you for looking over Kun's development and helping him develop into a wholesome Japanese man. On number 3 of the list, we have SoCal Kush, featuring Snoop Dogg and Elon Musk. This is the living motor for many of today's brilliant minds, especially for the people of SoCal. Being a fellow weeb himself, Snoop Dogg-sama has a close relationship himself with trees. This beautiful relationship could be seen all throughout YouTube through fan passion projects. Elon Musk-sama, who represents our delegation as America's Anime Club's president, also co-signs this important creation known as SoCal Kush, or what the old grannies at my church would say, devil's lettuce. Second to last, we have Sakura-san, featuring every rom-com, high school series, and high school romance series. Huge shout out to this hardworking man for being in every iconic series you could think of. He's really getting that bag because if you look at his IMDb page, it's probably filled with thousands of series. His sole purpose is to remind students that spring is finally here and it is a new school year. And as we spend these 2 weeks looking at all these beautiful sakura petals floating in the sky, we can only imagine what kind of story is going to be told in that respective series. Last but not least, we have any Tree-san in any Studio Ghibli works. For many decades, Ghibli projects are accredited to being the pinnacle of background art, and I still firmly believe that they're at the tip top when it comes to depicting Mother Nature through the anime medium. The world I definitely want to hone into is Princess Mononoke, where the topic of Mother Nature is the centerfold of that series. The forest depicted in that movie was actually based off the Shiratani ravine located at the Yakushima island. The forest is made up with these ancient cedar trees that are said to be over 1,000 years old. I think the film does an excellent job of defining that sacred vibe with the help of them cute tree spirits. So hopefully as I talk about all these different trees, that will inspire you to donate to this amazing cause of #TeamTrees. The reality is, if we don't plant them trees and take care of this beautiful earth, the only real places you will see trees is through mediums such as anime. And we can all agree, that's the last thing we want.